Okay, so we're outside, and it's actually kind of a nice day. I'm going to take the medium format camera. I'm taking it out of the case because we don't need it in that. And we are going to operate it today. Nice some clouds out here in just shooting in my backyard. Then after I still see some tomatoes in the garden, I might go see about photographing those, and some flowers over here. And I checked it out earlier. There were a few bees still flying around on it, so we could check that out too. But let's get to the camera itself. We have dual lenses, one for viewing, one for the film. Shutter button. Mine does not have a safety lock on it. We got our two knobs when you're facing it, the way it's supposed to be faced. The one on the right is for how many seconds the exposure is, and the one on the left is for f-stops. On the side here we have an X and an M. X is pointless nowadays. It's for bare bulbs and stuff like that. Old school flashes from like the 50s. But M is your sync for your PC port, which we have right here for those that still use PC port flashes, speed lights, stuff like that. I've only ever used it when I was in the studio. Other than that, I really don't use speed lights or any sort of monolight system. We have our knob, focusing knob. Right here in this little compartment, it just tells you what kind of film is in there. I always have it set to black and white. It's kind of pointless, but it's helpful to know for people who borrow my camera. I always shoot black and white. Over here we have our winding knob. This is to advance to the next image, or blank image, and then to wind, to load and unload the spool of film that we are going to hopefully get to today. And then that is right here. I have 6 taken out of 12. Below here we have, I'll look this way. Behold here, this is actually the knob to keep the back door closed to load and unload film. The only other two things are these two knobs here, which have no purpose at any other time besides wanting to load and unload your spools of film. This takes 120, which I'll show you in a minute. Up here we have our viewfinder. Pop that up. Mine's old, a little damaged. You look straight down into this. There's, you could say 2 other ways. If you take this little lid here and you pop it down, you have this little magnifying glass pop out, which helps you focus down better into there. If you take this, you push it all the way down, you hear a click. Now you have a view. Turn around, you look through there, and you'll be framed up that way. Now you use these little numbers on the side to gauge distance, which I don't really do. To get this back up, there's a little metal button right here. Just push that, and when you do, pops back up. And for that, you're ready to shoot. To get to the film, So I shoot Ilford because I shoot only black and white, but it comes in this little package, and I do have undeveloped film because I develop a lot at once. And this is what they look like. There's little rolls and little spools. They're very wide. But we will hopefully load that in just a few minutes, hopefully. Now, I don't know if you can see, but we got quite a few bees, bumblebees, honeybees, buzzing around here. Now, I also forgot to mention two things. Two not so important things to me, but maybe to you. Right down here is the self-timer. And the second thing is here, my camera doesn't have it because it's seen better days, is a light meter. And for that, I use my secondary camera, my backup camera, which when shooting film you should always have because you don't know what's going to happen, whether it's in the dark room, it's developing your negatives. Always shoot a backup. It's not going to hurt. Take a couple extra seconds. But I also use this as my light meter, so it don't really matter to me. So we're ready to shoot. Oh, look at them all, look at them all. Pop this up. Let me take my reading, so I want to make sure it's the same. I want to shoot at about, for this I'll shoot at f8. See what that lands me. Let's see, what do I want to shoot? I guess down here. I see more of the bees coming this way, so actually I think I'm going to boost this up to f16, get more depth of field and get those bees in there. I can see them all before they go away. And okay, I'm at 2/50th of a second. And hello, Mr. Bees. I'm going to go back here and I said f16. So I turn my left to 16. And my seconds, I'm going to turn it to 250. Now, like I said, you can look straight down and turn your little knob. But I like to be a little bit more precise in my shooting. So I'm going to pop my little magnifying glass up. Find that same sweet spot and get that focused in there. I want to wait for that bee to move just a little bit. There. Okay, so I pushed the trigger, you heard the shutter go off. So what do you do next? We're going to lift. We're going to do a full crank. And then half back. And pop it down. So it's going to go all the way down. You're going to feel it stop. You're not done yet. You wind it all the way back, and you drop it. And now you're ready for your next shot, and now you're at 7. So let's get one more of the bees, because these little guys are fluttering around. And I see one right there. Ah, there's a good one. Right up over here. See if I can get them. Let's focus it in right there. And come on, Mr. Bee, fly. There. I dropped the shutter, captured the image. So again, it's up. Half crank, full crank actually, and back and down. Okay, up, Okay, I'm going to hold it right there and we'll continue it up on the porch. Alright, we see that there's now a bullseye. You'll get that when you reach the end of your spool. And then what we do here is we have to finish winding. We have to finish winding on the rest of the film. So it's completely on the roll up here. Now, it's exactly what it sounds like. Ooh, hit the tripod. We're just going to keep winding. See how easy it got? I'll usually go once I feel that initial pop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up, over, pop that back in, don't need that anymore. Now, I apologize about the wind. Now, I'm going to get some gaffer tape. This is the way to open and close your medium format camera. So I'm turning it to the way it says open, obviously, and I'm going to keep twisting it till I can't go no more. This will release this and you can just pop this up. You can see the insides of it. Now I was telling you about those 2 knobs on the sides here. What we're going to need to do, because you see the spool that you just shot on is down here. And it moved it onto the spool up here. So what do you do now? 2 fingers on top, that's what I usually do. And you pull the knob right here. It'll pop it out. And pinch it, keep it tight. Take my gaffer's tape. And I will go around at the end. Pinch it off so I have a tab to pull when I am in my darkroom. And that is used, that is exposed. Goes into the pouch. So, and you can take a look inside. You can see straight on through. Now if I show you about this in a minute. Here's a good way to test. If you ever buy an old school camera, any old camera like this, the best way to test it to see if it actually works is go up here. Doesn't really matter what aperture. I usually set mine to 3.5, as wide open as I can go. And go down to a second. Your f-stop doesn't matter, but what matters is your second. So go down to shoot 1 second exact. And just shoot it. And time it. If it stays open and closed for a second, you're good. Now don't do it just once. Do it more than once. Make sure it's consistent. I've done that plenty of times when I was in antique stores and stuff like that, because I actually really shoot with these. I don't throw it in a collection. So, how do we get that spool up here? It's the same way. I mean, most people, I've actually seen people throw these out and then wonder how they're supposed to get the new spool up to the other spool that they threw away. Anyways, you got the little T cross section, and in here you have these little T Well, I shouldn't really call them a T. Little Saturn looking things, and you're just gonna pop it in there. Pull this back. See if I can get that in there. Pop that in there, and then you'll hear it when it decides to pop into place. Just like that, it'll go in. I go down, crank it, make sure it works. Now you have this black little thin line. Crank it till it's straight. Or actually a little bit more than straight, and you'll see why in a minute. And then take our new film. Take our new film. Apparently I don't know how to open up film today. Oh, there we go. Put that over there. Okay, so now we have our new spool of film. Pull it. That, and let's get it going. Now once you get to this part, rip this off. That's useless. And this should be a little tab underneath your 120 film. This goes in pretty much the same way as that. Gotta wait for that. There, hear the little click. Okay, here's the important part. Here's the stuff you cannot screw up. Just pull it gently. Remember I said that tab with the little cross section up here that has to be straight across? You just want to file that in and hold it. Now it says unexposed. And you have two little red dots right over here. I'll show it to you before I close it. You just want to crank this. Actually, now that I got it going, I can show it to you. The little red dots right there. And you just want to crank this till this black line meets up with those right there. Close it. Secure it. Go down over here. It should say S, which I'm only assuming is their version of empty. I have no idea. I never looked it up. And crank it and you'll see the little arrows. You hit one, back around, and down. And that's loading, unloading, and operating. My hood fell out. My little cap. Just a little information about these. If you have a Yashica Cobalt series, these actually take a bayonet. Bayonet 1, I believe they're called. They're little round filters. You can actually find, I believe on eBay, they have little bayonets like this that actually go to a 52mm screw-on filter, if that's the thing you want to do. You pop it in there and you just twist it and you hear a little click. There's these little balls that'll click into. They also create lens hoods and other stuff like that for your camera. The next time I take this out, it might be in a couple nights, and we'll set this up and we will take some night shots and do some star trails with film.